Morning, everybody. Really happy to see everybody in person, actually, again, I couldn't even tell you how many months it's been. It's a really different view when you're not talking in front of people for a year and a half, and now you're standing in front of a bunch of people trying to present rather than just a screen. So hope you're ready too, John. Yeah. But either way, really happy to be here. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Sherry, for having us back. Good to see everyone here. Presenter is a little strong term for me in this situation. I'm really more of emotional support. I'm here with John. I'm really happy that he was willing to come and join us today and walk through, rather than walking through CourseStage or walking through specific solutions we have to different problems our clients shared. We're going to go through a specific case that John and I faced together when we first met. What was it, 3 years? Yeah. So we're going to walk through a use case. And when I say we, I'll be standing to the side while John walks through our use case. But John Poeltler is a great person. We had a really interesting start. Different understanding of different expectations. The theme that he's going to walk through and all the steps that we went through, the key piece was communication. I think it's really different that I don't share, I think, with all of our clients, is that open communication that we share, coming to the table, having maybe uncomfortable conversations from time to time. But at the end of the day, it's all about finding that understanding and finding the bridge to get there. But John's worked with different LMS, instructional design, online education for over 10 years. He has a really interesting perspective on online learning with experience with both corporate and association LMS. I've learned a lot from him. Really excited to introduce him. So, John Poeltler.
Well, thank you all for allowing me to be here today and speak with you. And thanks, Matt, for the great introduction. So I'm really excited to be here. And as Matt had mentioned, I do have a lot of experience, practically 6 years now with just a focus on LMS administration. And that's been on the corporate side and now moving into the association side with American Medical Technologists. A few of you might be familiar with us. We're just down the street in Rosemont, so about 15 minutes away. But Matt had mentioned, having communication at the beginning. I came from a corporate background into an association world, which kind of blew my mind. I didn't quite know what I was getting into at that time and had a lot to learn. So my first months, I focused on our LMS, learning every little thing that I could, but kind of didn't realize the nuances between a corporate LMS and an association LMS. And within the corporate world, if you're not taking your training, you're probably not going to be employed at where you're at. So it was very much just focused on compliance training, things like that. And then when we came into the association, it was my first experience actually working with members and selling outside CE through our platform. So what we did at the beginning is, I'd mentioned I was going through looking at all the little details that we had in the system, went through all of our different business rules and wanted to see what actually was working for our members. So I was coming back, probably complaints to Matt and them about why are we doing things this way? Why is it done that way? Not truly understanding, the full scope of where we were working with those members. But then we also uncovered a lot of different things of maybe what we're doing is kind of holding back our members. We had business rules such as expiration dates on our training, 60 days, to take those. And they had mentioned before, somebody that's a medical assistant may be coming at the end of their 3 years to get certified, and they want to take as many training as they can, as quick as they can at, the cheapest price. But then if they're purchasing them all at one time, they get 60 days to take them all. It wasn't a great idea for us, and we did get a lot of customer complaints, things like that. Some of the other things that we had noticed were just with our course attempts. So we were only giving people one attempt at taking a final exam. We talked about moving those, and we did up to 3 attempts to help, gauge kind of those costs, knowing that people, they have to stay certified. And one of the big things with us, actually, I didn't mention it earlier, is we don't make people take our training to maintain certification. They can find it at any different platform they want. They can go to their employer, they can go to outside sources, and they can self-report that. So it's actually a huge focus of ours to give the best training that we can at the best price to make sure that they're coming back and utilizing it within our systems. So along the lines of looking over our business rules, we realized that with the current platform that we were on at that time, it was called Broadway with Web Courseworks. They had just launched a new platform called Carnegie. And, usually in my background in IT, I'm not one to kind of, I guess, be the guinea pig, but we talked with Web Courseworks and opened up that line of communication that said, hey, we need a new platform that's going to be more user friendly, and it's going to allow our users to go in, take the training that they need, and feel confident that they aren't going to have to call us for issues or quiz resets, different things like that, and they can actually get in and get out and find what they need to remain certified. Because we all know, their main goal is to focus on their work and to do that, and that's where they want to be. So along those lines, with Matt here, So we went into the planning process. We talked about this, opening those lines of communications. And that communication not only came from myself and Matt and the Web Courseworks team, but we had to bring in everybody inside of our organization at AMT. So we had representatives from marketing, we had people from customer service, we had IT and education and our sales group all together in those meetings, talking about what do we need within the system to utilize that to make it better. So some of the big things that they were able to bring for us was moving all of our products from the actual website and putting them into a catalog that's housed directly into our LMS. It gave everybody a centralized location. We named it our AMT Learning Center, where they could go and actually do a robust search on training. So they had the ability to actually do a lot of customization with that. So we can allow our members to come in, search by topics, keywords, content type, length of training, CE, and the cost of training. So if they, whatever they wanted to do, we offered, a lot of different types of training, which made it a lot easier for our members to find that content. Some of the other things we had to do was we were working with a secondary vendor, so they were able to accommodate us with being able to load secondary vendor education in there that we use and price out and sell out to our members to help bolster our learning library. Being a small organization, you guys know that you may not have all the resources that you need, but through this, we've actually been able to grow our team through being able to move up into this new LMS system. Some of the other things that it gave us a more robust ability to build new course styles and types. And to do it a lot faster, we were starting to utilize templates, different things like that within our system that allowed us to actually push our content out quicker to our members. And then also along the lines is the reporting that came with it, especially around our quizzes, things like that. We wanted to have a system that could go through and actually tell us, if members were missing certain questions on our practice exams or certification exams, what those were and how do we make those tweaks to make them better for everybody in those situations. So that was kind of the planning process we went through. What do we need to look at? What are the business rules? How do we address those? And then how do we implement those changes? So as I mentioned a little bit about the solution, it was moving platforms. That was the biggest solution. And that, really required, it was about a 6-month effort that we had. We had to go through and migrate years of data. We've been on your platform, I think it's since about 2002 or 2004, around there. So long before I got there. So it was definitely a huge undertaking. And, this solution is actually really helped us. So I had mentioned before where we had members where they could now get 3 attempts at a quiz instead of 1. Well, just even that small tweak in the system moved probably our customer service calls down about 95%. We were seeing roughly about maybe 300 a month, and now we're seeing about maybe 10 a month of people calling in and doing those things. So
something also interesting about this solution is imagine a conversation where John and I are both getting to know each other and you talk through and they have a series of goals. So focusing on business rules, how can we grow AMT, looking at all the different areas of where we want to improve and attract more people to our site. And us getting to know each other, the option is to knock everything down and build it brand new was essentially the conversation. So when we talk about communication, talking through, that was probably the most uncomfortable portion of the conversation is we want to do everything brand new. So let's start it brand new. So I think when it comes to solution, that's really something to point out as well.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, and I mean, having that solution and doing everything brand new, I mean, it was like a breath of fresh air for our members. We've actually seen our user base, as I mentioned before, they don't have to come to us. We were seeing about 15,000 members yearly coming in, and well, we're on pace to break 30,000 members coming in and using our training and accessing our learning center. So it's definitely been a huge revenue growth for us. And so yeah, the results here. Yeah, it's been definitely great on our revenue growth, our member base. We've seen our member base actually go from 80,000 up to 100,000. And we're, wanted to put more focus on the learning center and having that e-learning technology, because we're actually seeing a shift in our base from an average age. It used to be about 40 or 45 to 60 down to now 30 to 40 within the medical assisting field. So having that available, and then having a company such as Web Courseworks, one of the things they do is they're very flexible and they like to build custom integrations. I think that's part of the great point of them being an open source software, is that they have a great team of developers that go through, and any ask that we have, may say, we'll look into it, we'll see if we can do it. And they've really delivered on everything that we've wanted to do to customize the system. So I think that's a big thing, is that it can actually bend itself to your business rules to fit the model that you need.
Well said.
All right.
Wide open to questions if anybody has them. Have to address. I know we're a little ahead of time, so.
Yeah, John, from the online audience, based on your experience of just implementing this project, is there anything you would do differently, knowing what you know now and what you experienced for another project?
It's a long list of things we do. Really, the biggest thing was establishing your business rules. That was kind of our big one right at the beginning, making sure that we had that and having that open communication with the vendors, so they knew exactly what our business rules needed to reach where we needed to be. We did have hiccups. It was one of our rules is that you can only take CE one time ever for it. So it's not like every single cycle you can continue to take it. And it was, how do we utilize that and get that to work? And that might have been something we didn't communicate right at the beginning. And we actually had to go through and customize that so the system would actually block out any sort of external training as if somebody had already passed it, things like that. So.
There's another question is, it sounds like you had a team more than just education. So how did you get everyone to row in the same direction and participate in these meetings?
Well, the big thing is I kind of took on the role of project manager in that one. And really, we started out small. We just had a few delegates from each different department. We had marketing, IT, said our sales, customer service, and education, and really had to show them, where we are now and where we can be with implementing these changes, and kind of just getting that buy-in, not from just them, but also moving in and bringing that to our executive leadership and our board. So we had, a whole plan that was put together to show, if we implement these changes, this is the growth that we can see, and these are the changes that we can see.
Great.
And I do have to say, working with those, and marketing was a huge asset to us. Before we had kind of worked in a silo and didn't do that. That was one thing that LMS was able to bring us, was closer with our marketing group, being able to have a custom catalog. They can now direct link out to new products and courses, put those in our e-blast, different things like that, which makes it a lot easier when members get those. They don't have to go and directly search, but they can just click an email and pick up those products.
Yeah. That congratulations. I mean, is my mic on? Congratulations. That's huge success. I just wanted to say that, but also to go on to that online question, can you get into specifics, like not super specific, but what type of marketing did you do? Like, those numbers are incredible from an engagement perspective.
Really, it was just coming up with more focused, like we did actual content months. So we had mental health awareness month. We've done heart health month. different things like that, getting people going. And then they do monthly emails. We also have an e-learning spotlight that we send out that talks about new trainings that are coming out, different ways to even utilize the system that people might not know, just kind of tips and tricks. So we really try to every single month drive home that this is where you need to come get your CE at. This is, you know, the easiest place for you to earn it. So it's really just repetition over time that's gotten people to buy in.
Another unique side of that is they organize everything in their catalog by track. So when they go through and they have their months that are going to steer people to specific topics, items, education that they're specifically looking for, they're getting a full wealth of that information. It's by type, it's by length, all those items, and then they can steer items to different products.
Yeah, and we're actually in the process of now, we're going to talk about doing updates there. I mentioned the customization is adding certification types in there. So we're going to have all of our courses tagged by certification type. So it'll be really easy to go in. You can just click, you know, an RMA certification and everything pulls up that you'd be able to take. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, John. Well said.